And now it's time for a Star Trek story.
Last time on Star Trek Stories.
What happened, Jaron?
We got into the question of, is authoritarianism justified? And this is a part 2 episode, so we're going to be asking a follow-up question about justifying things. This week, Aaron, my question is torture ever justified?
Oh my.
Just a little nugget there to chew on.
Oh, gosh. I don't know if I have the mind or the reasoning to answer such a question. Is torture ever? Heart says no. Brain says no too, so it's probably a no.
Probably no.
I'm going to go with no.
I think I'd probably agree. I can imagine some extreme scenario where if I don't know, maybe, but again, that's me imagining an extreme scenario.
It's the trolley problem again, but modified, right? Like, would you take the trolley and run over this person's legs?
Yeah.
Like 10 times in a row
back and forth.
to save the 5 people back here.
Sure. In that case, yes, torture is justified. Good night, everyone. Yeah. I'm sure it's contextual, but it's hard to imagine many contexts where it would be. But I'm sure Star Trek will have thoughts and feelings on this on today's episode of Star Trek Stories.
Woo! Gosh, I hope so.
Yes. Yes, this is episode 48, Chain of Command, Part 2. I, of course, am your agonizing host, Jaron Hatch, and I'm joined here by my harrowing co-host, Aaron Cole. Hello, Aaron.
Well, don't know about that.
Harrowing.
Agonizing. That's a bit harsh.
Yes, this is our final episode in our
Wow.
look at the TNG Glory Years. We've made it to the end of our 15-episode selection here. Last time we watched Chain of Command Part 1, where mean old Captain Jellicoe took command of the Enterprise, while good Captain Picard got captured by some mean old Cardassians on a secret mission.
Jellicoe.
Oh, geez. And since this is, of course, part 2, returning with us back at the captain's chair, we have the very lovely Ellen Marie Lewis with us. Hey. Ellen, it's been so long.
God, it's been like a whole ass week.
It's been like
it's been
60 whole seconds have passed.
Long weeks took to me.
Yes, for those new to the podcast, Ellen is one of my best and dearest friends, and they have been on the show with us, getting a little taste of every season of Next Generation, and this is our 2-part season 6 pick. Last time, of course, we watched Chain of Command Part 1. Before we get into it, any predictions on how this is going to resolve itself, Ellen?
I think everything's gonna turn out okay in the end.
We'll have to see. I don't know.
Sometimes it gets spicy.
Does. It's one of those things, though, spoiler, but, there's this idea, is Picard gonna make it out alive or not? But he's in the, little frame on Paramount Plus for the next episode after this.
so I'm assuming.
I'm assuming it's not a flashback. Oh my God, remember when, before he died? And then there's the heart music, and then the screen gets all wavy.
Picard is actually a prologue.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew. Yeah, 3 seasons of Sir Patrick acting as his younger self in Starfleet Academy.
It's like in Wet Hot American Summer, how they did the prequel series 10 years after the original movie came out, and everyone has just aged since then, and they're just it's a week earlier.
It's so funny.
They were already too old for all those parts.
Right.
Yeah.
They're all like high schoolers. So good.
Now they're even more 15 to 16 years old than they were in the late 90s to early 2000s.
Just a brilliant play.
So
by
good.
Netflix.
So good.
Was that Netflix peak? That might have been.
Yeah, when they did that, because they did another season too that was after, but the first one I thought was better.
Yeah, I didn't get to see the other, but I think the whole thing was like, because they all talk about meeting up in the future. Mm-hmm. Like,
it was fine. That first season they did was so fucking funny though.
it was really,
even compared to the
incredible.
movie. I think that first season they did is my favorite wet hot American summer. It's so good.
I think so too, and I love the original movie.
It's so good.
It's so great.
It's
just like a really fun way to like expand on just like what makes it so over the top. Like,
yeah, they really lean into the over the top thing in the Netflix show, and it's so fucking good. Speaking of TV shows, now that we are near the end of our little TNG sampler, you of course are a cinema TV lover. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about on the show, Star Trek is fun to see them try different, like, again, plugging those kind of TV tropes or classic storylines or whatever from different kinds of shows, but into the Star Trek mold, because Star Trek can just basically do anything. I'm curious, you being like a storyteller yourself, if you got to come on and do whatever, like your own Star Trek episode, what kind of Star Trek episode would you like to do? If they just gave you like, here are the keys, come do your episode, whatever you want it to be, that's what we'll do.
It kind of depends. I really like a lot of the campier episodes. I know that this is once again, like just going into like everyone on the show is probably too old to be doing this, but I love like a good prom episode of a show. Like, I don't know if like what kind of things we could do, like some sort of like, you know, like officers ball or something, but like I would love to do a space prom. Like
well, you know, so next year
or a space school play.
There is a play episode where they're doing a play on the Enterprise, because Crusher will often do little plays, and there's a whole episode that's set around a play, but it's a psychological thriller, and it's freaky.
I kind of just want everyone to do like a production of like a Midsummer's Night's Dream or something.
Their take on that.
One thing I've always wanted to do, I don't have a very strong like theater background, but like for like one of the like local like fringe festivals or something, is like a production of like a public domain play, like a Shakespeare play, but it's like you're inside of a sitcom. Like there's laugh tracks, there's like someone running frantically back and forth playing two different characters. There's someone who has like a really big heartwarming realization while giving a monologue, but you're like a member of the audience in that play that doesn't know all these things about the characters, which is, you know, like probably happening within universe and like sitcoms when like people put on plays where it's like you're just in the audience, you don't know any of these characters, you don't know the emotional stakes that came in before they got on stage, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Give the audience cues, like, oh
yeah, boo. It's funny you bring it. That's funny. Spaceball. So next year we are supposedly, the next Star Trek series is supposed to be Starfleet Academy, the TV series, and it's with a younger cast and just them going to space college. I'm like, you know, that actually they could do like a Spaceball episode on Starfleet Academy. So Ellen, maybe you'll get your wish.
If anyone from the creative team is listening, hit me up.
Everyone.
I've got
here's your pitch:
bachelor's degree of film and media arts, a master's degree in strategic communications. Please give me money. Thank you.
Yeah, if you want to get Ellen, you can email us at storystartrek@gmail.com. That's storystartrek@gmail.com. That would be fun because, you know, we're always talking about the space fashion, the space hairdos. I feel like the Spaceball episode would just be the ultimate space fashion episode.
Yes.
Oh, do you know how fun it would be?
Space prom dresses.
How awesome.
Space makeover montage.
What they need to do is, if they do that, if you're listening, Paramount, you should go find every like makeup and wardrobe person who's ever worked on Star Trek and come bring them all to come do that episode together. Like people from Next Gen, if there's anyone left from the original show, all the modern, just have everyone who ever did the hair and makeup and costume for Star Trek come do the Spaceball episode.
I would love that.
How fun would that be?
Such a good time.
Well, now I just, I was kind of iffy on Starfleet Academy, but now I'm just like, it couldn't come sooner.
You're seeing the vibe. You're seeing the potential. It's what Star Trek needs.
They know the vibe, and the girlies love the vibe.
Well, speaking of Starfleet Academy and adolescent drama, coming to the subject of torture.
High school. Yeah. Torture. Yeah.
Who's in 8th grade in this episode?
What do you think, Ellen? Is in your mind, is torture ever justified?
No.
Yeah.
Just even during the intro, like just thinking of examples in just kind of real world situations, like closest thing I could think of is, the death penalty. And that's something I'm personally very opposed to. It's something that is very controversial, that there is a lot of opposition to. And I think that's like kind of the one example I can think of from kind of contemporary society where like torture exists in some form. And it's something that even now is, opposed by a lot of people and is very controversial.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, like I always leave room for like, given a context, that torture is about as close to like a black and white no as like some issues come for me. I'm just like,
I think so too.
Like I said, can I imagine a scenario where sure, it's like, yeah, millions of lives are on the line right now and we got to get it from this terrorist. So do whatever you got to do. It's like, okay, sure. However, I feel like those kinds of explanations have been used to unjustly torture people. And it's like, and we never see, it's like, did you actually save any lives? It's just not like, I don't know. That kind of reasoning is often used, I think, for unnecessary torture. So even then I'm like,
I was just going to say, this might be some bullshit internet study, but I think there's some claim that like after a certain point of torture, people will just say anything to just be done with it, right? Like, so you can't even verify that the information you're getting is true. So it's pointless anyway to torture somebody. It's just pure malice.
Right. Well, there you go. We don't even know we need to watch the episode. No,
Goodbye, everyone.
The fans would hate us forever if we did not watch this episode. Yes, Star Trek certainly has thoughts on this subject, as we're about to get into.
Oh, good.
Yes, we are watching Chain of Command Part 2. This premiered December 21st, 1992. This is the 11th episode, produced for the 6th season, still around the middle of the pack. So yeah, like we said, the last episode ended with Captain Picard getting captured by the Cardassians while on a secret mission. The whole thing turns out it was a lure a scheme to lure him in. And this was all originally supposed to be one episode, but they turned it into two for financial reasons. But this part in particular is really like what the meat and potatoes of this whole storyline is. So we can kind of see how this pays off all the setup in part 1.
I miss the good old days of saving money by expanding a story instead of just wiping it from existence to get a tax break.
Write-off. Jesus Christ. David Zaslav, if you're listening, fuck you. And we also mentioned earlier this two-parter was instrumental in setting up the Cardassians, at least how they appear in the spinoff Deep Space Nine. And so we can definitely see, now that we'll have watched both of these episodes, how effective they are at being a new adversary for the franchise. Also, last episode we talked about Captain Jellicoe's more authoritarian approach to command and if it was justified, and we'll also get to see how that plays out in this episode. So all sorts of little fun things to look at. All right, for those of you at home who are going to watch along with us, Star Trek The Next Generation is streaming on Paramount Plus. You can find it by bringing up Season 6, Episode 11, and we will be back after we watch Chain of Command Part 2.
You do, however, have a choice. You can live out your life in misery, held here, subject to my whims. Or you can live in comfort with good food and warm clothing, women as you desire them, allowed to pursue your studies of philosophy and history. I would enjoy debating with you. You have a keen mind. It's up to you. A life of ease, of reflection and intellectual challenge. Or this.
What must I do?
Nothing, really. Tell me how many lights you see. How many? How many lights? This is your last chance. The guards are coming. Don't be a stubborn fool. How many?
You told me he would be ready to go.
We had some unfinished business.
Get him cleaned up. A ship is waiting to take him back to the Enterprise. Captain Picard. If you'll go with the guards, they'll take care of you.
All right, we just got done watching Chain of Command Part 2.
Oof.
Woof. In case you didn't watch along with us, haven't seen this one before, so what happens in this one, it carries off of Part 1, of course. On the Enterprise, Captain Jellicoe's negotiations with the Cardassians don't really go anywhere, but he is able to kind of figure out what they're up to. They're planning to invade from some nebula somewhere, and he's able to get in there and stop them, but of course he ends up needing the help of Riker, and he kind of has to go in there and be like, hey man, you want to help me out?
Sorry, man.
Sorry for being a dick. Can you help me save the day?
Please.
And eventually Captain Jellicoe does in the end save the day. Meanwhile, during all this, the real meat and potatoes of the story is Count Picard has been captured, and they have specifically captured him to reveal what they hope is the Federation's battle plans in case they're invaded. And what follows is Picard being tortured by his tormentor, played by David Warner. And then it's just this kind of conflict between them. In the very end, like they're playing this game where he keeps showing Picard 4 lights, but he keeps insisting there are 5 lights, and he tells Picard how many lights are there, and Picard keeps saying 4, and he keeps torturing him. And at the end of the episode, like he's like, hey, well, you know, we don't need you anymore, so here's what we're gonna do. You can live the rest of your life in comfort and luxury, or you can continue this forever. He's like, what do I have to do? And he's like, you just have to tell me how many lights there are. And at the very last second, the Cardassians come in. It's like, hey, we got to take him back to his ship. The Federation's won. Picard has a triumphant moment where then he screams in his face, there are 4 lights. But in the end, when he returns to the Enterprise and he's talking with Counselor Troy, he reveals that at that point he was going to tell him that he saw 5, but then the bigger reveal is at the very end. He says, I actually thought I could see 5 lights, and that's not what the episode ends on.
Not only was I just going to say there were 5, but I really
actually saw it.
I genuinely thought I could see it.
All right, we always start with initial thoughts. Ellen, initial thoughts on Chain of Command Part 2.
I think the scene that really stuck with me the most was while Picard was captured, you know, I'm forgetting the character's name. I'm so sorry. I know you just said it, but the person who
was interrogating him. It was Golma Dredd, played by David Warner.
So Golma Dredd starts talking about like this experience from his childhood that was very traumatic, and Picard like just is basically like this makes a lot of sense, and just the level of like just like pain that he's endured, like kind of coming back, that it's like sort of him taking this opportunity now to be the one who inflicts pains, which is, you know, in real life a lot of times like people who are abusive of power over another person are people who themselves have endured abuse of, or, you know, uncertainty in the past, and are just kind of continuing on a cycle. So it was like just kind of interesting to see that point come up, and that also being kind of a point where from your point of view and the information you're given, like you feel like for a moment like Picard has this upper hand of being able to be like, when I'm being tortured now, like I will just see you as like a scared and powerless 6-year-old child just trying to do what you can. Mm-hmm. Then he, you know, gets zapped. And I was like, you're 6. Mm-hmm. The other thing I really, it's completely a different thing, but I have to ask, just because I am getting a selection, you know, about 1 or so episodes per season, do we ever see Jonathan Frakes performing his jazz music that he talks about when they're in his cabin?
We do on every once in a while. They show him playing the trombone.
I love that, because I don't think I've seen any episodes where he's playing the trombone. So for that to just kind of like come up in this episode, just have a trombone be in the corner was kind of
framed in the shot.
Yes.
His bone back there under the light. He's wearing a swanky lounge.
Yeah, he's got this lounge, like smoking jacket thing going on. It's like Hugh Hefner vibe in his outfit. I was just like, what a detail to throw in, but it's actually part of the show. That's good to know.
The quarters are always a treat, like the main crew members.
Yeah, getting these little peeks into their personalities. And also, talk about a contrast. I was kind of thinking about mine. It's like, we just had this scene of Picard just, weak and helpless. You're like, oh man. And then meanwhile, in Riker's struggles, he's like
reading a magazine in this like silky little fit, like
Catch up on my encyclopedia.
Thought son.
Looking at his illuminated trombone in the corner, it's like, I hope my captain comes and asks me for a favor.
He's gonna.
I hate you. You're not my real captain.
Yeah.
That conversation between him and Jellicoe is so catty. I love it.
So catty. Both of them, so catty.
Since we're dropping ranks.
They're dropping the ranks. I guess a much needed kind of palate cleanser from, because all this, anytime it cuts back to the scenes with Picard and Gomer's Red, you're like,
your heart rate increases.
Oh boy, here we go. And then when it cuts to like people in space jammies on the Enterprise, you're like, oh thank God. Aaron, initial thoughts going on off of Chain of Command Part 2.
Are we still on initial thoughts? My goodness.
Yeah.
Calico cat.
Captain
Jellicle.
Jellicle cat. Jellicle cat. He came through in the second episode.
He does come through in the second episode.
You may not like his methods.
Right.
You can't deny the results.
Heartbreaking. The most horrible guy you know just made a good point.
No.
Yeah, he does come. That's part of why Jellicoe has had kind of this kind of reappraisal in recent years, because a lot of people are saying like, in the end, he saves the day. He figures it all out and has the plan of attack.
He doesn't have to be such a grumpy old bastard about it. The first episode.
No. Total bastard. This is probably the most appropriate episode we can end on for this chunk of episodes, because basically every episode it's become a running joke where we're just like, also shout out to Patrick Stewart as Captain Jean-Luc Picard for killing it. And if there is an episode where it's like, okay, shout out to Patrick Stewart for killing it.
Did he get nominated or anything for this episode?
I don't think he did.
Snubbed.
Yeah, and a lot of people said like the fact that he never got nominated for, least of all, like once during the whole show he never gets nominated, but certainly for some of these episodes like this one, you're like,
feel my disapproval through the microphone.
I mean, it's like, how many actors on TV in 1992 are being asked to do that? Mm-hmm. Very few.
I just feel like with as someone who loves award shows, especially like relating to film and television, like really like heavy genre works like really get overlooked. Like I feel like a lot of the best, performances I've seen over the years have been in, like really genre pieces, and it's just something that people seem to like really just turn a blind eye to, especially like in regards to acting and writing.
Right. There's a very like specific view of like what is deemed to be like, but this is the kind of this is the kind of acting that wins awards. And it's like, but if we're really judging just like having to, like, I see some roles, I'm like, well, sure, but like what? But then that guy in that sci-fi show under all this prosthetic is having to go above and beyond, and like, okay, there's a green dot right there, and you have to pretend that it's like this alien thing coming at you, and you have to, I mean, like, that shit is so much more difficult than when it's like, you're in this awesome, cool drama, like lawyer scene, with great dialogue. It's like, great. I mean, that is great.
Your mark, do the work.
Right.
Yeah.
And not to diminish that kind of acting, certainly not, but it's like, some of the stuff genre people have to do is very difficult under very difficult circumstances too.
Also, like, just like to act like, this is like a lower form of entertainment, especially in regards to acting, when Sir Patrick Stewart, like before signing on to do this show, is like a very celebrated actor, like very much like classically trained, like meets all of these like accolades that, are kind of considered like cream of the crop within the acting world.
Mm-hmm. But still, just because it's Star Trek, it's like, we love you, Sir Patrick, but you're on Star Trek. It's like, oh, come on, fuck you. Because I do believe for this episode, because Patrick was like, if we're gonna do this, like, I don't want to dress it up. Let's fucking do it. Like, let's show people just how awful torture is. And I believe the writer of the episode actually kind of did research with Amnesty International on like torture and everything. And then Patrick Stewart worked with Amnesty International, and they gave him tapes of actual torture, people being tortured, and he watched it so he could accurately convey what that experience is like for people and not doing something that wasn't true or accurate. And I'm like, oof.
I do really appreciate them making sure that they were working with like the proper channels and organizations, and were able to add some truth to what was going on and like really ground what was happening.
You have to, because otherwise
Definitely.
Then it just becomes kind of this, I don't know, you run the risk of becoming like masturbatory, where it's like, we're doing a special about torture, but then you don't do any of the research or homework. You know, it's just because you're doing it. See how significant it is.
I feel like there's a lot of, I mean, obviously this is not the same as being tortured, but things that represent like experiences that certain communities have that people will try to make art about that doesn't affect them, and then they don't consult anybody. There's that movie like Sia did a couple years ago about a child on the autistic spectrum, did not talk to a single person with autism, and just kind of did like whatever the hell she wanted. And the film received a lot of pushback. And she was like, well, you guys haven't seen this yet. And the movie did come out. People were like, hey, like there are a lot of really awful stereotypes that are being held up by this movie. Like, you know, a lot of people would have wanted to, you know, consult on this and make sure that this was done in a respectful way.
She just kind of sent it. Not great.
Not great, Bob.
It just turns into these weird vanity projects, and it's just like, fuck you. Like, because, you know, doing a story about that is important, but then to just do no research, no homework,
Just vibes,
and then it's like, I don't need that. I'm showing my take on it.
It's in the how, Jellicoe Cat.
All in the how. I mean, certainly all their stuff is, like I said, this is the meat and potatoes of the story. This is what it was all building to. And also, and I think you said that, Aaron, also, shout out to David Warner for his performances. Gul Madred, they play off each other really well in this episode.
Gul Madred. Such a good name.
Gul Madred.
Sounds like a Sith Lord.
I am Gul Madred.
He's maniacal. He's so good.
David Warner, he had previously, you'd seen him on Star Trek 5 and 6. In my mind, he's the guy from The Omen. He got this role like 3 days before they started filming.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was a very last minute kind of thing for him, but he's like, yeah, I'll do it. And you wouldn't have guessed that he had almost no prep time to do this role. He did say that he had a lot of cue cards to help him with the lines, because he just had to jump in and do it. But man, they play off each other so fucking well. You know, like you could feel like both of them could be nominated, because, you know, they give awards for guest appearances.
They do, yeah, at the Emmys. I'm
like, yeah, like 3 days work, and he goes in there and plays against Patrick Stewart in this little like story about torture. It's like, give him one too.
Toe to toe.
What do you think about all that material? I don't know, what do you think they're trying to do with that story? Is it just an anti-torture kind of thing? I don't know. What do you think they're trying to do with that whole storyline?
I think they're trying to give Sir Patrick a tour de force performance. That just really let him go. Turn the dial up to 11 and send it, like bust out all the chops.
We've got Patrick. We gotta do. I think
that's a big part of it. Yeah,
a really great vehicle for him to like them to just spotlight what a talented actor he is.
Yeah, but at a score, I think it kind of is just like torture bad.
Torture bad.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. What do you think, Ellen? Do you think it's mostly just anti-torture piece, or?
I do think there's more to it. I don't know that I can necessarily articulate my feelings on it at this time, though.
Well, you know,
I'll let you know if I can, though.
Yes. Well, something you had said, And this kind of ties into, because we're also going to bring up some of Jellicoe's stuff, and like, you know, because now we can also really kind of address the question of, because, you know, our question last episode was, you know, is authoritarianism ever justified? And, you know, now we can kind of say, like, was Jellicoe's approach justified? But last episode we were talking about Jellicoe being this, we talked about like power and like while authority in itself isn't necessarily bad, and like Jellicoe's more authoritative approach to this situation isn't necessarily bad. It's how he's handling it, and he's being unnecessarily antagonistic, which is not helping his case. And we talked about, you know, clearly he's kind of getting lost in the power of it all. And we also talked about how clearly there seems to be some insecurities. The episode never goes into it, but it's kind of implied that there's some insecurities with the character there. And then you had brought up Gul Madred. He's telling this whole story about being the kid on the planet and everything, and how he was in this position and now he's here and everything. And Picard kind of's like, oh, well, so the whole reason why you're doing this is to like pay back all this years of suffering and torment. It's interesting. You have Gul Madred and Jellicoe, and they're both these characters who, in their respective positions in this episode, hold all the power, but they both seem to have these kind of insecurities. And rather than, I don't know, meaningfully addressing them, they seem to be kind of getting lost in the power they hold as a kind of like a shield or a way to kind of misdirect it or whatever.
Definitely. And are like really just like doubling down on.
Yes. And it kind of gets both of them into trouble because, and you, I mean, early in the episode, Aaron said like, you know, torture is ultimately self-defeating, you know, and Picard says the exact same thing in the episode. And, you know, and it's like, he gets so lost in like the power dynamics, and he ends up kind of working against his own cause. And Jellicoe kind of shoots himself in the foot because in the end, after kind of getting pissy at Riker, he then kind of has to kind of go crawl on his hands and knees and like, Riker, I need you to, and it's like, dude, all this could have been avoided if you had just, because you see at the end, he starts to build a rapport with the crew, with kind of Geordi and Data and everything. And even though there's still tension, it's like, okay, I see where you're going. It's like, dude, all you had to do is just kind of open up yourself to that just a little bit, and you could have avoided all this unnecessary having to send Riker to his room and everything. You just made it so much harder.
Go to your room, Riker. Think about what you've done.
So I wonder if on some level, especially with Jellicoe, this whole thing as a two-parter, because I've always thought about like, is this just like anti-torture? But I'm like, I wonder if this is actually secretly, more subtly kind of examining people in power and how people can kind of get lost in power rather than meaningfully kind of opening up or dealing with their own issues. And then the suffering that inflicts upon others, because Riker and the crew have a wee. And then, of course, you know, Picard has his wee. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like,
I wish there were like one or two more examples besides the Riker blow up of his command methods working or not working in the moment, right? Like you see it pay off in the end of the day, but you feel like you could have just done things Picard's way, right, and not changed a thing and just gone with the flow.
Like a lot of
it would have turned out the same.
Like a lot of the issues that came up could have maybe not necessarily been avoided, but not have been as severe.
Right. Oh my God, that line he has at the end. It's just the way he left her. Maybe better. Like, okay, dude, come on.
X to doubt.
We should talk about the Cardassians. Like I said, they had been building up the Cardassians as a new threat because they had the Klingons, they had the Romulans, but they'd been using them for decades. They had the Borg, and they were like, we can only use the Borg every once in a while, so we need someone new to kind of.
And on top of that, too, like with like the Ferengi, it was like very clear early on that they were not like as menacing of like a recurring antagonist as they thought, and really quickly became more like comic relief.
Right. His appearance in the first episode is very just
right,
like
milady.
Yeah, the Ferengi were supposed to be that, but that did not work out. And now we've kind of had the build up with the Cardassians, and this is when you really see them in a fully antagonistic role. What do you guys think? Does this kind of, because this episode, literally Deep Space Nine premieres after this two-parter, and the Cardassians are the main antagonist. Does this kind of, and they keep showing up in Next Gen and the whole franchise after this. Do you think this does a good job in kind of showing them as an effective adversary for the Federation?
Yeah, I think it does. I think they show that they can go toe-to-toe with their tech and with their diplomacy as well. Mm-hmm. They're kind of fencing.
I agree, and I think on top of that too, like one thing I was thinking just outside of the that I was trying to articulate earlier, just outside of the torture bad part of the story, is with them being such big like adversaries. Like I feel like Picard's like a character that you often see like constantly making the correct decision. Like very few things go wrong at his hands. He's usually the one who knows exactly what to do in a tense situation. And this is the first time that I've personally seen from the episodes that we've watched together, like him being in a place where he's like this compromised, where it like he even like kind of like, I feel like the fact that he's able to stay so long with like the conviction of, you know, there are four lights, like this is like what the truth is in the situation. You know, a lot more people would probably crumble a lot sooner. Like, I mean, including myself, I'll be honest. But, you know, as someone who, you know, like you see having like this like conviction and always does the right thing. But even he says at the end, like, you know, like I'd been convinced at this point that there were 5 lights. I was very close to saying that there are 5 lights in exchange for this more comfortable life before I was able to be freed. And I haven't seen him put into that kind of situation, and it doesn't feel like a lot of adversaries that we've seen have been able to challenge him in that way, like have actually been able to cause legitimate trouble for this crew.
The main character.
Yeah, that like once again, like when this was airing, like we know because there's like a whole other season that things are gonna be okay, but like at the time that this was airing, like you didn't know that.
No, and I think I mentioned last episode, like I remember watching this at a Christmas party, and it was specifically this part because we had the Christmas party, but like Star Trek was airing, and like my dad and my uncle was like, we have to see how this resolves. Like, I'm sorry, we have to see, like, we've been waiting all week. And I remember kind of sneaking down and watching it, and we were aghast. Like, they had never done something like, I mean, we've seen Picard, like the last two-parter we did, you know, was
they Borged him.
Yeah, they Borged him. He gets assimilated by the Borg.
Crazy. As a fan, you're like, what?
But this was different.
Yeah.
Like to see him just, because in that one, he gets basically zombified, and so he's kind of not in his right frame of mind. And this one, he's fully there, and he's just being beat down. And Picard is so unflappable, and just to see him in this state, I would have been like 7 when this came out, and this was very shocking to me. And I was like, oh my, like, and then this episode I think would have been a lot weaker had they not had that final moment where Picard admits that. Because in the end, at first, it seems like he never broke. He was Captain Picard to the end, you know? And at the end, you realize, oh, they did break him. Like, he just got lucky and, like, got to have that kind of triumphant moment. But then you realize it's actually an empty triumphant moment because he was going to say yes. And he did actually see the lights, and they did break Captain Picard. You're like, oof.
Which makes you think,
1 and 1 is 3.
Right.
You would too then, right? Picard did it. Could you hold out if Picard could do it? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like after that, because then like Deep Space Nine came on, and the Cardassians were the main bad guys in that, and then there was always just this, fuck you Cardassians, like
just like in real life.
yeah, fucking fascists,
Fascist Calabasists.
Calabashism.
fucking fascists.
Yes.
Yeah, I do think this episode does a good job on kind of, they feel different from like Klingons or Romulans, even though they're like another like, we're on the border too, Federation, you know, but like there's something so manipulative about them in this. Like
Kind of always. They always have this look in their eye like
Golovec.
they've got the move on you at all times. They know a secret about you that's going to wreck your entire life. That's the Cardassians.
Yeah, it's so just dripping with this superiority complex, and then this false, hey, like Golomek is constantly just like, but rest assured, my, you know, like, but he's just clearly just this evil fuck. And same with Golma,
Smarmy.
so schmarmy. And then Golma Dread, there's this kind of, I don't know, like false trying to bond with Picard, but it's clearly all just like him trying to manipulate Picard, you know, in this weird fucked up torture way. But he's like, you have such a keen mind, I would enjoy debating with you, you know.
That's
it's
where
like,
it gets sick, is like it kind of becomes like a friend situation for him too. Like,
yeah, but it's just so he can just, and he knows he's already lost in that situation, that they're coming to take Picard away, but he's like, I just have to get him just say there's 5 lights. Like,
so it's personal for him at that point.
it's on, that whole last scene is only personal, which is great because it just really shows you in the end, I think, what all this really is. It is not for anything. Like, it's literally just people in power basically just getting off in this really sadistic way that they have power, you know. And it's like, you're the bad guy, I'm the good guy, and I'm going to tell you, you know, it's like, that's all it is. That's all it is. But they justify it as, we needed to get information to stop the terrorists. Yeah, and that's why we continue to operate Guantanamo. Jesus fucking Christ. Any final thoughts on Chain of Command Part 2?
I really love this episode. I remember the first time you showed it to me back in Weber State days.
Yeah.
Blew my mind. Had that same reaction you kind of had as a kid. Like, what the fuck? I'd never seen a Star Trek episode like it before.
Yeah, they go there.
Oh, it was really cool.
It was very shocking.
Yeah, easily a top 10 next gen episode. I don't know if I put it on a top 10 all time.
For the whole franchise?
Maybe. Just because of Patrick's performance.
I don't know if I would for the whole franchise, but I think I would for next gen.
For sure.
I do have a question, just because you'd mentioned, you know, the time that we're filming this, it's, you know, the winter holiday season, or not the time that we're filming, the time we're recording. Yes. It's the winter holiday season right now as we're speaking, and you know, you mentioned being at a holiday party with your family and kind of sneaking away to watch this episode when it first aired. Do you have any other like Star Trek adjacent holiday memories? Just this being clearly such a big part of your childhood.
Holiday adjacent. That's a
like, do you remember anything else about the Christmas party, or was this like the highlight, getting to see this episode?
I mean, because we went to the same grandmas with the same people for lots of Christmas parties, so now they all kind of blur together. But I definitely remember the one where like my dad, my uncle, and I watched this, you know, in the basement. Everyone's upstairs like, bring out a holly, and we're down here, lights, and then it's like, are you guys coming back to the party? And just like two grown men and this kid come up, just,
yes, shut up, yes, shut up, we're coming.
Yes, all mankind, and you know, it's the happiest.
I don't really have anything else to add. I might return to my cabin, put on my silky pajamas, and pull out the trombone.
Pull out the bone. Yeah, I always like this one, and I remember actually. I have another weird memory of this episode. There was a birthday where we were living in the South Salt Lake house, the boys' house too, and we had a blanket fort set up. It was when Tyson and I were watching through Star Trek: The Next Generation, and that was just the next episode we were on. But then people were coming over for the part, like, to, you know, we're gonna hang out for Jaron's birthday, and we were in the middle of and everyone's all coming in this fun, festive mood, and we're all in the blanket fort. We're watching this Patrick Stewart torture drama. The fun part was that was like, well, let's cheer everyone up. And then I went and got all my Star Trek action figures because I still have them all. We brought them out. We brought up all my Legos. Just brought a bunch of like childhood toys that I have, and then we all just play with my toys for the rest of the night, my Star Trek action figures. So another strange celebratory memory associated with the four lights. Okay, rest of the party, everyone. Well, Ellen, thanks for coming on and watching these 2 episodes with us. I know it's like we have to get Ellen for at least one, because there's a bunch of these 2-part Next Gen episodes, and we're like, we have to get Ellen for one of them. Like, you haven't gotten a taste of Next Generation if you haven't watched one of the big classic 2-parters.
I haven't gotten like a Fade to Black to be continued.
To be continued.
Thank you guys for having me back.
Always a pleasure. Always love having you on. It's been fun hearing all your thoughts. It's always fun talking to newbies, and then you're such a like cinephile and TV person with lots of thoughts and opinions on lots of things. So it's been fun to hear, and it's been fun to kind of pick and choose. It's like, I think this will be a good one for Ellen. I think this one will be a good fun for Ellen. So it's been fun to see how you respond to all of them.
Thank you for curating this charcuterie for me.
Yes.
The Next Generation.
Yes, going back to our analogy from before. So what is this on the charcuterie board of?
Oh my.
I might pick this to be like the little thing of olives. I'd say part of it too just comes from like the fact that like as a child I really didn't like olives, so that there was like a little bit of like torture to that.
Oh yeah, that makes
but
sense.
Also, as an adult I appreciate them more, and it's something that's like bitter but like overall like an important part of a charcuterie board.
Just someone holding up their fingers with olives on them. How many fingers am I holding?
Oh no.
There are 5 olives.
That's what it is.
There are 4 olives!
Yeah, thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed our coverage of Chain of Command Part 2. And thank you for those who've been here for this whole chunk of episodes. Thank you. We just finished the TNG Glory Years. Like, just that big stretch of when Next Generation was just pumping out like great episode after great episode, and it just really was one of the best things on TV.
Yes, thank you for sticking with us and hanging out with us.
Yeah.
That was really just a huge bunch of Star Trek.
Oh yeah,
we got through.
A lot of great, like classic. Just we'll get into it because next week you and I are just going to be hanging out, and we are going to be talking about this last batch of episodes we watched, and just kind of sharing our thoughts and feelings on what we just. Though I'm sure they'll be mostly good feelings because it's all been mostly great episodes. Feelings. Also next week, we are going to be giving a little teaser for Nerd Movies 4. We have our next Nerd Movies coming down the pike as we kind of transition into a whole new set of episodes. So you definitely don't want to miss what we have in store for Nerd Movies 4. It's going to be a fun time. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, we will see you all, hopefully not at a holiday party, being traumatized by torture porn.
Star Trek Prom. Star Trek Prom.
Star Trek Prom. Star Trek Prom. Give it to us. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to share us your own Star Trek story, you can email us at storiedstartrek@gmail.com, or you can visit our Discord server. You can find us by clicking on the link in the show description.